Hey guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with the Joker how to build video. As always, we're going to be starting on his main hero page so we can discuss what makes him tick, what makes Joker who he is, and how best to maximize his strengths and minimize those weaknesses. Alright, we're going to start with his passive, which is Punchline. After exiting battle, the Joker reloads his gun with enhanced bullets so that the next normal attack deals bonus damage and increases the attack range. The enhanced bullet also does a reduction of movement speed by 90% and gradually weakens over 1.5 seconds. His first ability is the Killing Joke. This one has a 5-second cooldown and it does not get reduced. The Joker launches a powerful rocket that deals a bunch of physical damage to enemies in its path, but each subsequent enemy hit, it reduces the damage by 10% up to 40%. So the base damage goes up to 915. This is easily Joker's main thing that he does, his best ability that really just goes crazy. His best damage ability rather. Second ability is pick a card, any card, 15-second cooldown at level 1 and it goes all the way down to 10 at level 6. Using his Cunning and Guile, the Joker removes all slowdown effects on him and gains 30% movement speed, and that movement speed goes up to 60% by level 6, as well as immunity to physical damage for 2 seconds. So a couple things here to note. This used to be an ability, and I misspoke this in my Hero Quickly video, that used to remove all crowd control effects. Now it only does slow effects, no longer does actual full crowd control effects like stuns and freezes and knockups and all that jazz. But it does give the movement speed boost, which is pretty substantial. And of course, the immunity to all physical damage, and that does indeed include tower shots. And then we're going to go to his ultimate, which is Canned Laughter. 20-second cooldown to start off at level 1, all the way down to 14 at level 3. Very low cooldowns on Joker, but we're going to want to reduce them even further because his abilities is how he gets the main source of his damage and power. The Joker rushes towards the target, stuns them for a short time, and attaches a canister of laughing gas to them before spinning back to his original position. So Joker will go out, put a bomb on them essentially, and then run back to the spot he was on. Does a bunch of damage. It explodes, dealing a bunch of damage. The gas release reduces target's movement speed by 90%, with the effect gradually weakening over 1.5 seconds, exactly the same as the passive. Now, this ability also does a lot of damage. The base damage is 680, and it builds a lot faster with AD than the first ability has a building of 297 to start off, and this one has 396. So this obviously has a much higher AD ratio than the other one does. But really good ability. So 14-second cooldown for the ultimate. We're at 10 for this one, and we are at 5 for this one. So we're going to want to reduce those cooldowns a little bit, and we're going to really focus on the abilities because Joker's main damage comes from his abilities and not his auto attacks. So let's go to the equipment page and get started on building the Joker. Alright, so the first item we're going to want to build on the Joker is going to indeed be Rank Breaker. And the reason we're going Rank Breaker is because it really checks off all the boxes that Joker needs. Now, Joker is going to build a lot of attack damage because he is a ability-based damage hero. It's odd for a marksman, but it is who he is. So 100 attack damage is a good start off to the game. 10% cooldown reduction so we can shoot his rocket even more often and use his other abilities, second and third ability more often, which get him out of harm's way. In a 2-second immunity to physical damage, and in like about probably around a second immunity of all damage and everything with his ultimate. So we want to get that stuff up more often so we can do it more frequently. Passive Windwalk increases movement speed by 10% after exiting battle. That's actually a really solid stat on Joker. Joker is either going to be played as a marksman or as a top laner. He works decently in both spots. I personally prefer him as a top laner. And because his rocket does so much damage to everything it hits, Joker can really effectively clear lane, and then he's a really solid roamer. His roaming includes going to mid lane or counter jungling. He's really good at that also. But movement speed is important on Joker and kind of overall who Joker is. So this is not necessary, but not the reason we take Rank Breaker, but it helps. And the second passive, of course, is Break, increases armor pierce by 100, and it goes up 10 per level. So we want to have a solid amount of armor pierce, especially right off the get-go with Joker, because what we're doing is we're empowering his first ability and his ultimate to do even more damage early game. We're going to go over the Arcana, but we're going to get 100 armor pierce from his Arcana. We're going to be getting 100 plus 10 per level from Rank Breaker. So when you buy Rank Breaker, say around level 5 or 6, you'll already have 250 armor pierce. So your stuff, your abilities will be hitting full force against any squishies and close to full force against some tanks at that range. So it's pretty solid. Joker's going to be doing some crazy burst damage with these abilities. Second is we're going to go, of course, Boots, and Boots is a pretty interesting option. A lot of people go War Boots, and I think that's a big mistake because attack speed means absolutely nothing to Joker, okay? Number 2 is you could go Flashy Boots if you really want the cooldown reduction, but I don't see the need to do that at this point in the game. What I really want to do with Joker at this point in the game, level 5, 6, 7 area, is I want to be able to roam better so that I can get more kills and get more fed. So the movement speed, the passive, increases movement speed by 60 after exiting battle, is now playing off with this passive where you get 10% movement speed while exiting battle, and you're going to be able to roam very effectively. You have really solid movement speed going to roam into the enemy's jungle to steal that or counter jungle their jungler, or roaming to mid, or maybe even roaming all the way to bot if you can spare the time. But yeah, this is going to give him some solid movement speed. I think out of all the boot options, this is the most effective on Joker based on who he is and what he brings to the team. Next, we're going to be going with another attack item, and this one is another no-brainer to me, and it's going to be Omni Arms. Omni Arms was made for somebody like Joker. Now, we have 15% attack speed, which is not really necessary, but the attack damage is nice. The HP is nice. The lifesteal is a little bit of sustain. It isn't going to change Joker's life. He's not a lifesteal kind of a hero, but it's freaking free health, so take it. 500 max HP is nice, but we're doing this because of the passive Pentapower. After using an ability, the next normal attack within 5 seconds deals 100% more physical damage. It has a 2-second cooldown. So the real power of when this comes in is when you engage into a fight as a roamer, or just as a fight that you haven't had in a little bit. So it procs with the passive extremely well. So we're gonna hit OK. We're gonna go back to his hero page and reread the passive. After exiting battle, the Joker reloads his gun with enhanced bullets, so his next normal attack deals bonus damage, and it increases the range. So now what we're going to do with Omni Arms gives us this massive enhance on damage, 100% more physical damage. We have 170 physical damage, and let me tell you folks, we're going to build quite a bit more. So the kind of 1-2 punch that Joker's going to give you is shooting his rocket off to start a fight. He's going to drill somebody, right? That's the ability. Now, his passive with the enhanced shot from his gun doesn't go away when he shoots his rocket. It stays, and it's going to do extra damage and range to the first auto attack. So you're going to hit that rocket from distance, bam. And that first auto attack is going to have enhanced damage from his natural passive and the passive from Omni Arms, causing it to deal an obscene amount of damage. Now that is a sick way to start any fight with him, especially if you're counter jungling or ganking. Alright, next we are going to be looking at getting another damage item, and it's going to be kind of an interesting choice. It's going to be Fenrir's Tooth. Even though the one pause I have about going Fenrir's Tooth this early and at this point in the game is that it has a pretty ridiculous amount of price. It is expensive. 2,950 gold is a very expensive 4th item, but I can assure you that it's well worth it. And the reason why is because of all of it. 200 attack damage is going to make, we did a lot of testing today to figure out exactly what it does at this point in the game, and it's going to give you a ton of extra damage on your first ability, the rocket, and the ultimate at this point in the game. And the 30% extra damage to targets below 50% HP is super sick. And the reason why is because with a lot of squishies, you're going to open up with that rocket, boom! You're going to drill them with the rocket, and then you're going to get the enhanced range and damage auto attack as passive with the Omni Arms extra damage, bam! And you are going to get any squishy to like mid-term warrior who's kind of maybe not started building tank yet, or maybe he's built a little bit of tankiness, because you have so much of this armor pierce so early in the game. you're actually going to be drilling dudes, taking them down below for half health, and then you can either auto attack them down with 30% extra damage, or you can ult them and then boom, and then auto attack. I mean, you're talking about Joker bursts people down real fast if you get that first ability off well. So now we're talking about just wrecking people's lives. The amount of damage Fenrir added was extremely high. Now we considered going Clave Sanctity here, and we did a lot of testing. The extra damage from Clave Sanctity on the passive, on his auto attacks of course, and when they critted, and then on the passive extra damage auto attack, it wasn't more substantial than what you got from Fenrir's on the auto attacks, combined with what it gave you on the first ability and the third ability, the ultimate. So the overall damage and quality of life for Joker, his ability, Joker's gonna burn his rocket and his passive right off the get-go. When those things are gone, he either has his ult or he has auto attacks, which aren't very good. Either way, he's gonna get people below 50% if he gets that first ability off and the auto attack off, and then we're gonna be talking about needing extra damage. That 30% extra damage comes in handy when they get below 50% health, when he needs to do his ultimate or those auto attacks and he's trying to finish somebody off. I tell you, it works really incredibly. But, no buts actually. We're going to the next item, and that is going to be another attack item, and something I don't do very often. We're going to go Miramasa here. I don't go Miramasa often because I think generally Rank Breaker or the counterpart Spirit Longinus are going to be better items for Armor Pierce. But this is a scenario where it works out really well. We need more Armor Pierce at this point because you're talking about 40% Armor Pierce plus the 250 plus the 100, from about 300 plus 40%. You're going to be reducing 90% of the players in this game to 0 armor. Okay, that first ability and that ultimate is going to be hitting like a freaking freight train. Okay, it's going to be hitting so hard. It just makes a massive difference. The damage you're going to be outputting with these 5 items is going to be insane. I mean, throughout the whole game, whether it's your initial burst, now you're reducing them to 0 armor as you're hitting them with the rocket and that incredibly powerful passive auto attack. Bang bang, below 50%. Now you're going in for the ult and the auto attacks, and they're just nothing they can do. They just melt before you. So as the 6th item, we aren't going to go and build more damage. We're damaged out. We're destroying squishies. We're destroying, we're destroying off tanks and tanks. We're wrecking everyone at this point. Pretty hardcore. So the need for additional damage isn't really there at this point. What we're gonna do, and now we're still gonna go damage. We're just not gonna. We're gonna go a little bit unusual. We're gonna go Desicle. I'll tell you why. 60 attack damage helps. Not necessary, but it helps. Movement speed helps. Not necessary, but it helps. But the passive, Divine Intervention, prevents damage from a potential killing blow, then increases movement speed by 20% for 1 second. Okay, so that's a long cooldown. 9-second cooldown. We'll discuss that in a second. A potential killing blow gets negated. With the cooldowns the way they are now, so let's see where our cooldown reduction is. We got 10 from Rank Breaker, 10 from Omni Arms, and 10 from Miramasa. That gives us 30% cooldown reduction. If we get a blow on us that would normally kill us, now it's going to do it's not going to not kill us. It's going to do 0 damage. It's going to prevent all the damage of potential killing blow. I'm thinking about, as a Wukong main, I jump Joker, I hit him, I stun him, and then I hit him for 5 grand, boom, Joker's dead. Now he has Desicle, and my 5,000 damage hit, my crit, my big fat juicy crit on Joker did 0 damage. 0, see if you guys can see it. 0 damage. It didn't do anything to him. And Joker gets to live another day. Now what it means for Joker is he avoids all that damage and gets some movement speed. With movement speed is nothing, but really, let's go back to his abilities. What can Joker do after that? Joker can hit his second ability, which gives him 60% movement speed buff on top of all the movement speed he already has, and immunity to all physical damage for 2 seconds. So Joker avoided death against my Wukong or any main assassin because of Desicle, and then he can get out of dodge. He can't be slowed, and he removes all slowing effects, and he gets no damage for 2 seconds from physical people. It's crazy. And then if he really wants to, he can cast his ultimate, which makes him immune to everything. He can't even be targeted while he's casting his ult. So what it does is it brings Joker back to life and gives him another shot to get out of dodge and stay alive, which the Joker's really, really good at. So it's really sick. Then what I want to add onto that is 90-second cooldown is a very long cooldown. So what we're gonna do when that cooldown goes down, assuming we have the money, which you should, you're going to sell Desical and you're going to buy Ancestral Glory. I find Desical to be a more useful item on him. If that's what I can use, I will. But if the cooldown's off, then I'll buy Ancestral Glory. That'll bring me back from the dead and give me the same opportunities Desical did. You alternate those two items. And if you guys really want to sell Hermes Select, the boots, and buy something else when you have the, when you just got cash coming out of everywhere, when you just, you know, you're wiping $100 bills, gold bars, the item I would suggest is probably, it's kind of a tough one actually. I'd say either probably the Beast or Clave Sancti if you want to do Clave Sancti finally. It's not really super helpful on him. Or if you're really balling and rolling in the dough, take another Fenrir's Tooth. That 200 attack damage, even though you won't get the passive again, 200 attack damage, man. 200 more attack damage onto what you already have with that rocket and that ultimate is just stupid damage. Stupid damage. So this is the Joker how to build. Now we're gonna moving on, of course, as we always do, to the Arcana, which is super simple on Joker. And if some of you guys guessed it, congratulations. Not that hard to guess though. Onslaught, armor pierce attack damage, simple. We're gonna go for big fat juicy hits on him, especially early game. Purple, simple, not undying, whoops. Assassinate, movement speed, attack damage. Let that boy roam, let that boy do what he does and give him even more damage. And green, last but not least, is of course Skewer. More damage, more armor pierce. We're gonna F some stuff up and have a good time doing it. And to the request of many of you guys, I'm gonna add one more thing into my how to build video, and that is talents. You guys have been requesting some talent suggestions, so I'm gonna start adding this into the videos also. Now, I'm gonna give you guys two suggestions. The first one is a much more aggressive suggestion to be Execute, and the reason why Execute is a suggestion is because it's a big fat juicy hit. So if you hit with a rocket, hit auto attack, hit your ult, you could potentially Execute and finish it off. I mean, honestly, with a lot of heroes, rocket, passive auto attack, ultimate, Execute, for almost anyone in the game when Joker's fully built is going to be enough damage to freaking boom, burst him out and one-shot him. I can't even fathom anyone who would survive all that. So that is one suggestion, but the one I would really recommend getting for most people out there is going to be Endure. I know this is kind of an odd one, but he kind of plays like he plays, instead of being he's more like a marksman assassin than he is a marksman. Kind of reminds me of, you know, the mage assassins like Tulin and all them. And Endure works well on him. Same kind of concept as the Ancestral Glory and the Desical is you can use Endure to save your life. Endure can save you for 1.5 seconds, give you enough time to get his ult up to become completely immune to everything by being untargetable, or get his second ability back up, which gives him a bunch of movement speed and makes him immune to all physical damage for 2 seconds. I mean, if you're smashing that second ability against 80 targets, you know, when you're coming out of Endure, you're pretty much guaranteed to save your life. I mean, Endure is just going to be one of those items that Joker's a very aggressive, risk-taking player. He tower dives because his second ability doesn't take damage from towers, neither does his ultimate. So he's just a big risk taker, and Endure could save your life by, when you're taking a risk, overextending, trying to make a play, because that's what Joker is at the end of the day. Joker's a playmaker who takes a lot of risks. He's a very big-time playmaker, big-time risk taker. And we, at the end of this build, we're giving him a couple ways of getting out of dodge, more than what he already has with the second and third ability. I think Endure with Desical is like, he's unkillable. It's crazy how much this dude can survive like that. Now, just to give a quick recap, we are building 30% cooldown reduction on him. Whoops, let's go to a hero page. And the cooldown will end up being for this, you take 30% off of that. You're talking about 3.5 seconds on killing Joke. This one gets down to 10. I'm talking about 7 seconds for a second ability. So you can literally, you spend 5 seconds of every single moment where you can even take any physical damage. And then his ultimate gets all the way down to 2.8, 4.2 seconds off that. So you're talking about 9.8 seconds cooldown for his ultimate, where you can be essentially immune to everything for a whole second while he's doing the animation to his ability. This is the Joker build, guys. Those are the talents. Those are the Arcana that's going to make him stupid powerful. Don't buy into the crit hype. I promise you the crit hype is not worth it. I've done a lot of testing on it. The crit hype is not worth it. Don't go Clay Sanctity. Don't go the direction of crit. And this is it. This is the build that's going to take the Joker game to the next level. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment sections after you guys try the build what you think of it. I know you guys are going to love it. But thanks for watching, guys. And as always, until next time.